Welcome you. We are now going to be crossing over live to a very, very major international development that's taking place. The global march to Gaza is underway, and thousands of activists from across the world have gathered in Egypt, demanding humanitarian access to Gaza and an end to the blockade. The situation is tense, especially where we'll be crossing over now at the Ismailia Toll Station. Egyptian authorities have ramped up security in an attempt to contain the growing crowd. And we have a Salam media journalist who I can't name because of security concerns, but she's currently on the ground. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Well, situation on the ground.
Assalamu alaikum, Salalo. I don't know if you can hear me well.
I can.
But I'm doing okay, alhamdulillah, considering the circumstances. I myself am waiting for my passport. Egyptian authorities seized possibly thousands of foreign passports at the Ismailia checkpoint. And so most of these people here are waiting for their passports to be given. There are many who have received their passports, but the seizure of passports erupted a whole protest in support of Palestine, calling for the end to the siege, and into the siege in Gaza, and into the genocide in Gaza, and for free Palestine, but also to allow the necessary aid to reach Palestinians in desperate need of it. I will show you scenes in a second.
Let's just talk about
thousands of people right here, and here they are handing out passports. So that is happening. Officials have not said that they're keeping any passports. There are active attempts to give passports back to the foreign nationals here, and there's still sporadic, peaceful protests happening here. There's also a large contingent of security services here. They are members of the central security here, a large contingent, possibly hundreds of very young officers at the Ismailia traffic department. And there are flags from dozens of countries being flown. We have representatives from over 550 countries, with potentially for the march, we had the latest estimates were about 7,000 people taking part in the peaceful march.
You talk about the security services. How has your interaction been with them? Are they violent? Are they harassing you guys, or they're just there to monitor the situation, considering the amount of people that are there?
There was high surveillance ahead of the march. It was very evident that there was surveillance on the roads, in hotels. There are reports. I'm aware of policemen going into hotels and asking for their cell phones. They wanted to check messages. They wanted to especially check WhatsApp and Signal chats, even asking people to re-download Signal app. There's also been plainclothes officers asking any person that does not look like they're from Egypt, what are their intentions, why are they here? So there has been heightened security leading up to the march, in expectation of the thousands of protesters, activists from all over the world joining.
How far are you guys now to your destination, to the Rafah border? And are you still blocked in? Are you not allowed to move any further? What's the information that you're gathering?
So from here, we were going to take a bus We were on our way to a location that I can't disclose at this point. And
Mhm.
from there, we were going to get on a bus all the way to Al Arish. And then from Al Arish, we would have marched all the way to Rafah. At this point, the organizers have said that they have not lost any determination and that this will go ahead. They are still trying to find out how. But right now, the main concern is just making sure that everyone gets their passports back. It was made very clear that no one is leaving. Even if you have your passports, we are not leaving anyone behind. And so we'll wait until the very last passport is issued back to its owner, and then we'll see if we can move past this checkpoint and go ahead with the march.
Mm, mm. You mentioned that you yourself had your own passport that was
Yes.
confiscated. We saw Mandla Mandela also has had his passport confiscated. What was happening at that time? When your documents were confiscated?
Explicitly told not to hand out passports over to any of the officials, and so that's what we did for a few minutes up until one official got very aggressive, very violent, not physically violent, but he threatened us with his aggression in an attempt to get hold of our passport. He then ended up grabbing my passport, and that's how we got hold of mine. He also, unfortunately, took our driver's ID and potentially his driver's license. So he's also stranded here, and I do believe it was an attempt to get us to hand over our passports. Also, so I
Mm,
was in a car with three others, four including myself, and they seized two passports, and the others have theirs.
Are there any people that we can talk to? Just get reactions from one or two people from different parts of the world. Would you be able, or is too chaotic the situation?
It is possible. It is chaotic at the moment. Just give me a second.
Mhm.
Hello, hi. There were also a large number of uh, reported deportations from some of
Mhm.
the other delegations, and a few detainments within the SA delegation, but they have since been released after
Mm,
a few hours, I believe.
mm, mm. I remember in the build up to you making your way to Egypt. We were quite very very concerned regarding your safety, regarding making sure that you're able to reach without any hindrances. Are you feeling safe right now? Are journalists able to talk? Are you able to make sure that you bring the latest to us here in South Africa without any fear of any kind of persecution from the Egyptian authorities?
You to see this. I think it's quite interesting. Um, Water bottles are being handed over to the officers, and they're all being given water bottles. And here are thousands of very thirsty people carrying backpacks, a heavy load, and but they're making sure that the officers are well hydrated.
Mm, mm,
There was definitely a concern regarding detainments ahead of the protest, the march, and
mhm,
so there was the organizers made sure to employ a lot of security measures just to ensure that their delegates arrive here safely.
mm.
These are all the central security officers.
Let's just chat briefly about the Egyptian public themselves, because the authorities are one thing, but the public is another thing. How have they received you guys? How have they received those thousands and thousands of people making their way to the country?
I'm just posting something. Can you take this? Sayalo, can you just give me a few seconds? I think I found someone who can chat to us.
Sure. No worries at all.
My name is Aura. Hello. We are here at the second checkpoint. We don't know how many people, hundreds for sure. Many people got stopped at the first checkpoint, and we got stopped at the second checkpoint. They closed the road and they don't let anyone go any further. This is embarrassing for Egypt state. This is embarrassing that they stand with genocide, that they stand with starving people, and they close the road for Solidarians that they go against it. This is a big shame, and they have to be accomplished. Hello?
Yes. We can hear you loud and clear. If you can hear me, maybe you can just tell us which country are you from, and why was it so important, for you guys to make your way to Egypt and be part of this global march to Gaza?
I'm from Iran, and it is super important because it's not only important, it's urgent, it's essential. It is more than essential. Because in the last more than 20 months, we tried all sorts of ways. We demonstrated, we intervened, all the political discussion, everything didn't lead anywhere. And there is no other way. And when we see that the biggest power in the world are complicit in the genocide, and they don't even try to hide it. They're openly complicit in the genocide with all the power. So it's just a big power of people that can stop this madness.
As an Iranian, I'm sure in the last few days you saw escalations with Israel happening. There's been exchange of fire from both sides. Do you have anything to say on this? Because it is pretty obvious this is part of a broader struggle in the Middle East, with Israel being the instigators of it.
Yes, last night when I was on the way to Egypt, I heard that my country being bombed. And for the first time, on a personal level, I feel people in Gaza, how they feel when their family, their friends are being bombarded. My sisters, the houses that were being bombed, there were a few blocks away from my sisters. And you know what? I just want to say that Iran is not Gaza. Iran is not 2 million people. Iran will be your grave of the devil. So they have to consider that. They have to consider that they can get away with it. They can get away with genocide. They can get away with occupation. They can get away with bombing innocent people. They bomb more than 200 bombs. They throw all over Iran in a civilized area, middle of the town, in the middle of the city center. And surprisingly, but not surprisingly, for example, Germany says that Israel still have the right to defend itself. Well, if Israel is not a threat to other human beings, then why should we be afraid of existing?
That's my
mm,
question.
mm. Let's talk about this march right now. You mentioned just how personal it is for you right now. Just looking at the state of affairs. With now Iran being on the receiving end of Israeli bombardment. What is your core message right now with your hope to reach the Rafah border? What is your core message to the world that you want everyone else to know?
We know we are all exhausted. We know that we have been watching a live genocide on our phone for the last 20 months. We know that it's just going further and further, and the monster will never stop until we stop it. So we can't afford being stopped. We can't afford being tired. We can't afford to let the monster eat the rest of the world. If the people on power can stop this madness.
Mm, no, definitely. Thank you so much for chatting to us. I'm sure you can see
Thank
all of the
you.
chaos that's happening. Um, Shakira, I'm not sure if you can hear me. Are you able to hear me? Let's get back to you. Shakira, just getting back to you. How long are you guys going to stay where you are right now? At Ismaili, as you mentioned, has everyone gotten their documents? Have you gotten your documents? Most importantly, and how long is that stay going to be before you guys head out to the Rafah border again?
At this point, we are unsure. We do not know. The process of returning the passports, I believe, is deliberately chaotic, potentially as a delay tactic. So they're really giving it in batches, in very, very small batches, different countries. And so I have to make my way to a truck, and there's about 3 or 4 individuals who are um, on the truck handing out the passports.
Mhm.
So you just have to make sure that you're there until they call out your name. But it's a very, very slow process, and we're unsure when everyone will be given their passports and what will take place thereafter.
Mm, mm, mm. I'm just going to ask you one last question because I know it's really hectic. You also have to go and get your documents. Just the Egyptian public itself, how have they received you guys? Because the authorities and how they're responding is one thing, but the Egyptian public, the general population, have they been accepting? Have they been trying to accommodate you guys as much as they can? How have they received all of those thousands and thousands of people that have made their way to their country?
Definitely not openly or not warmly, and this was largely due to security concerns for themselves. And so no one mentioned, the delegates who arrived in Egypt did not mention um, their intention of joining the march purely out of a security concern. There were concerns about deportation, there were concerns about detainment, and so this was not made known to the Egyptian people. And so we're unsure about how the Egyptian people would have um, treated the activists and the many ordinary people who also just came to show their solidarity, who made um, the huge sacrifice of coming all the way to Egypt, spending a few days with the intention of spending a few days marching through the Sinai Desert. It's a huge, huge sacrifice, and I think that was the statement. Some even knew that perhaps they might not reach Al Arish, they might not reach Rafah because that area, it is even very difficult for diplomats, people with diplomatic status to reach Rafah. And so perhaps there was even that. But I think just the symbolic nature, the symbolic message that they wanted to send to the people of Gaza, to the people of Palestine, that if we could reach Gaza, we would have been there. But now you can see all the many obstacles standing in the way. Um, yes.
Mm, mm, mm. No, I think we're going to leave it here for now. Shakira, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be keeping tabs with you. You are on the ground. Salam Media is on the ground. And as soon as there's any kind of updates, we'll definitely be heading back over to you. But thank you so much. Stay safe.
Thank you.
There you go. That was Salam Media reporter Shakira on the ground in that, I think, very, very important global march to Gaza. That was our first live crossover. As you can see, there's a lot of resistance coming from the Egyptian government and authorities. And it'll be interesting if ultimately they do reach Rafah. I mean, people from 50 countries from all across the world converging into Egypt and sending a very strong message of solidarity. So keep following Salam Media for live updates. We have eyes and ears on the ground with Shakira as our reporter, and we'll be giving you live updates coming out of the global march to Gaza. We're going to leave it here for now. We'll be with you in the not so distant future. Shap, shap.